Welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Fleet Professionals podcast. Here, we talk like grown adults, the kind who know the difference between a wrench and a spreadsheet, and also aren't afraid to call BS on bad fleet policy. Hosted by your favorite fleet professionals, Mike, Drew, Fakundo, and Brenton, grab your coffee, energy drink, bourbon, or whatever keeps you sane and settle in. We're about to go on a wild ride that tends to get a bit unprofessional.
All right, let's start this thing. Let's go.
Go,
Brad.
All right. Welcome to the Unprofessional Fleet Professionals podcast. I'm here with Mike, Fakundo, Drew, and I'm Brent. Today we're starting out with just kind of doing some introductions of each other, give a little bit of background as to why the hell you should listen to us. So we're going to start out. We didn't really start this out very well, but Fakundo, you're in the hot seat, man, because you're used to doing this kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't have a roulette set up, dude. Come on, we're not that tech savvy. Come on, brother. We're unprofessional. Thank you.
It's good. So far, I would listen.
So introduction of ourselves, right? So
so we're gonna start out. I got a couple questions kind of pre-formulated here for you, brother. So, kind of starting out. Where did you start in fleet, and like how many years do you have experience working with fleet in general?
So that's kind of a blurry question. I'll tell you why. So when I was at my dad's shop, I was been in automotive for 26 years. I needed a part-time job. I was like, "Yo, Dad, you're gonna hire me?" And he's like, "Okay." So started working at the front office. And at the time, we were right down the street from Dulles Airport, major international airport in Washington, D.C. So we were working with Defense Department, Customs and Border Patrol, other CBP, other folks that worked out of the airport. So I was working on the other side of fleet, like servicing fleets, back in the year 2000, 2001. So I really started then, and then kind of went on to when I met my wife. Her father worked in government for 30 some years, career military, federal government. I was like, shit, he made a pretty good life out of this. Why don't I live in DC? Why not go to school, get a master's and check out what the federal government's all about? So then I went from there. Before I get too much into more details of how I kind of started spilling into actually fleet management proper, I'll stop to see if you have another question, but otherwise I'll keep going.
Did she know you were from Argentina when she hooked up with you? I mean, this whole federal government thing, I'm just kind of wondering, the premise. Were you looking to link on to something at this point, or?
I know where you're going with this. No, I was fine. I didn't need any papers or anything. I shocked up with somebody. No, I'm just kidding. My family went through the process. No. It was. She actually knew her from high school. We went to the same high school. She graduated a year before me, and then we kind of just met up, came across each other's path later, but unrelated to needing my legal status paperwork.
A very mature young man in the lady's eyes, I guess.
I feel like we need to just throw this out there. So for anyone that's new to listening to us, which would be everyone at this point, we've known each other for a little while, so we got a lot of inside jokes and have a lot more history and everything. So we're just trying to catch everyone up to speed as to who we are and why. Hopefully we end up entertaining, so that's why you're going to come back. But also, we actually have knowledge that we're able to share.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So
I don't know if I have any knowledge that I'm sure, but I think like I'm the face of the fan franchise here. So like I bring the looks.
Definitely bring the looks. Drew brings the beard. I bring the soccer jerseys.
I got nothing.
Brenton's from Vegas, so if you need
I just apparently party.
He's our designated driver in Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll get back to kind of how it started happening. So went to school, knew that I wanted to get into federal government. In Virginia, you do, and I think you do this in Massachusetts. We do safety inspections annually. And so everybody's fleet vehicles, citizen vehicles, you have to do like a I don't even know how many things you have to go through to check. And so it was a Saturday, we were at work, and I talked to this guy. His name was Jerry, one of my dad's friends who's in the federal government for a long time. And I was like, hey, I want to be, I'm almost done with my master's. I'm looking to get into government, something like defense or something like that. I'll send you my resume, take a look at it, let me know what you think. And so,
It's a quick one pager. That's it.
That was it. It was it. I struggled. I mean, the
one line.
After about half page, it was like question mark, question mark, question mark. Space. And then, so anyway, went about my business, and then this dude comes up and he's like, hey, I'm Ron. I'm with the FBI. I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? And he's like, so I overheard you talking to Jerry, and I've been watching. He's like, if you noticed, my car was done a few hours ago, so I stayed and I watched you working, and I'd like for you to send me your resume. And I was like, all right, cool. For what? He's like, yeah, I'll just send it to me, and then we'll talk. So I sent him my resume, made it through the application process, went in for an interview, which was wild. It was anyway. The position was called investigative specialist. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
It's a spy. So you ever heard of G-Men? Do you know what a G-Men is? There's some movies about it. Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Is it a magazine?
That's why you have
GQ.
That's why you got That's why you got all them suits.
That's what
he
it
was
is.
a suit.
So you're basically a James Bond, is what we're.
So I was going to be like James Bond, pretty much.
Man.
So I got really, really far into the process. I actually got down to the last 2 or 3 out of like 150 applicants. Did an FBI polygraph, did all that stuff. Failed the polygraph. So the reason I failed the polygraph was bullshit, because it was like, I don't know if you guys know how a polygraph works, but you're all strapped up and they go through all the questions, and then they're like, other than, your previous drug use, is there something you're not telling us? And the answer was no, right? I was a designated driver in high school, like I was the responsible one. I never did anything stupid like that. And then after having
Did they ask you about your height? Did you say, oh, I'm 5'8", and it was like 5'6 and a quarter? Is that what it was?
Like, is he wearing heels today? Did you check his heels when he came in? No, it wasn't that. So anyway, so talking to a guy, buddy of mine, who was another 3-letter agency, and I told him, he's like, walk me through how you were answering the questions. And so I told him I'd answer the question and then exhale, because I was listening to the question so hard. He's like, well, that's why you failed, because it was like the changing of whatever. And I was like, whatever. Anyway, so that turned into a Google search, which was like government and fleet and all these things. And then the City of Ormond Beach job came up. So I applied for that one. And I was like, well, hey, this is a lot like what I've done at my dad's shop for 12 years. And then what I did for my master's, and kind of put that together. And it's like politics and fleet. I'm like, this is beautiful. So then did that. City of Ormond Beach, then got recruited by the City of Norfolk, then left and went to tech startup, did a couple different ones of those, and then I've known Josh Turley since I started in fleet management, basically in 2012, 2013, and I met him really early on, so I'd always say hi to him at the trade show, and then we became friends. He was kind of like a mentor, asking him for advice, and I was like, all right, dude, I think I'm ready to jump out of the startup game. So then I was like, hey, here's my resume, see, if you know anything interesting. And then his people reached out to my people, called me. And here we are. So now with RTA, a new role coming up soon, by the way. I'll be changing my role to Fleet Success Ambassador. So I'll be on the marketing team. So I'll be, one cool thing is I'll be visiting fleets. I'll be learning about fleets. When there's the opportunity to say, hey, you should take a look at RTA, we can, solve an issue for you, or you mentioned this challenge, or you had this goal, we do this really well, why don't you take a look? But also, I mean, even if folks are happy with whoever they have, basically at the end of the day, my job is to contribute to the fleet industry. That's what it is, Fleet Success Ambassador. So I get paid literally for a hobby, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
So anyway, in a nutshell, that's me.
Sweet.
But that's kind of how, I think at least I ran into you as well. I mean, we're in the industry, and it was talking shop and this and that. And really it was, hey, what can I do to help you? These are the ideas that I have. And that's why I thought it was so interesting to, hook up with you and just start talking shop, because it was always, hey, what can I do for you? And I'm like, oh, wow, this guy Fakundo, man, he's always kind of really interested in helping people out and sharing ideas.
And I think so. The first time we met was the first Fleet Success Summit.
Yeah.
And it was obviously before I was working for RTA. That's right. Yeah. I mean, I know that we had met through an RTA function, but now that I'm thinking about it, for some reason, kind of mashed it all together. But yeah, that was before my time at RTA.
Yeah. Yep. We started smashing golf balls at Top Golf. Neither of us were any good at it. I mean, it was a disaster.
Actually, I vaguely remember the more that I drank, the more accurate I was. But
that's kind of how some of your stories go as well. So
yeah,
keep it up.
Which summit was that? Was that in Arizona or was that in?
Yeah, it was in Arizona.
Okay.
2022, maybe.
Something like that. I don't remember. It was on the. I think it was right outside. Wasn't there like a training, like a baseball stadium, like right outside, like some
Dodgers
spring training? Say. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that was when it was still split. So yeah, I missed that. I missed that one because I had just started with Vegas at that time. We'll get into that later, but
yeah.
I would say I think I met you in NAFA 2 years ago, right? At the I&E 2 or 3 years ago.
Was it an I&E or was it a local event?
No,
was it a local? I don't think
it was I&E. I thought it was I&E.
I think so. And then I ended up going to your shop for something because I was on that Florida.
Yeah. You took a sweet picture of me next to my banner. Yeah,
that was a sweet picture. By the way, I don't think we said. So I mean, it'd probably be helpful to know. Like I'm not being held captive anywhere. Like with my background, like I'm in. Where am I right now? Pompano Beach, Florida, on vacation. But I live in south of Jacksonville, Florida, and Ponte Vedra, Florida. I guess we might as well. So, Drew, where are you at?
In Tewksbury, Massachusetts, just the next town over from where I grew up, but still in the group of towns that supported the regional high school that I went to, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth in Fleet. It's an interesting organic story, I was in 8th grade, and
shut up, man! Don't steal my thunder. Is it his turn yet?
I thought that was a perfect segue. I thought
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead. Yeah,
roll with it, man. Yeah, right? Drew, tell us about you, man. How do you get into Fleet? And you're government adjacent, but you're not directly government, so that's kind of unique. Among a lot of our friend groups. So what's the spiel, man? What's your background? Where'd you start at?
I was in 8th grade towards the end of the school year, and we had this great science teacher that was just, really connected with all the kids and kind of giving that chat, rah rah, shish boom ba kind of conversation at the end of the school year. What are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to folk school. I'm going to be a carpenter. And he was like, do you understand where we live? It is really cold in the wintertime. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea. So I got over to Shaw Tech, as we call it, the old purple and black, Shaw Sheen Regional Vocational Technical Institute. They put a bunch of words in there.
That's really a mouthful, dude. That's rough.
Go Rams. So I got over to Shaw Sheen, and they do an exploratory program, and it's great. And we were in the diesel shop, and there's all these, old pieces of equipment that I'm not sure it even ran in the 80s, and we're messing around. And there was this really cute chick, and she's talking, and these guys are like, hey, dude, you should go over there and smear like axle grease on this girl's face. And I was dumb, 9th grade. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And I smashed grease in her face. And she calls me greasy, and I'm like, whoa, I guess this is the place for me. I got accepted. I'm in this building with all these big pieces of equipment, and I kind of smashed grease on a girl's face, and she thought it was cool. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on these big pieces of equipment. They huff black smoke, and this blue collar town that I grew up in, and everybody drags their knuckles and brings lunch boxes to work, and I'm going to work on trucks for the rest of my life. So When I was about to graduate, I went through a couple of the co-op programs, they call it, junior year. You want to get out of school worse than anybody else does, and you
Right.
get these opportunities. And really, when I was, 16 years old, my parents bought me a Craftsman top chest, and I was so proud of it. I threw it in the back of my '83 Ford Bronco going to my first fleet job. I worked in a dirt lot on these gas pipe trucks. These guys upgraded gas fittings. I said,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't for me. It was Model B Max that, you had to use
Okay.
ether every time they wanted to start. And it was a disaster. And I'm like, okay, we need to find something else. And I went
Bronco,
from
Bronco
there.
1 or Bronco 2?
Uh, no, not the
Was it
Bronco
the
2, the little girly one. That was like the mom
Ah,
grocery getter, the little small. No.
Look,
I just
I
wanted to
do
make sure
like
that
the
had
curved windows on those Bronco 2s, though. Those are pretty sweet. I like those. I'm not
those
gonna
aren't
lie.
If
bad.
they
It was just the tires that it had on there was like
Yeah, yeah.
nah.
they
Anyway,
had to
sorry.
be
I had
slammed. If they
I
were
needed the mental.
low, they were cool, right? Like if
I'm
you
gonna go
kept the
sell
Bronco
mine
2
now. So
low, you're all right, but
I
no,
needed the mental image.
this was '83. It was diarrhea brown. There was so much rot on it. It had a 302. You would have thought it was a choo-choo train. The thing knocked so bad. And that's where I'm a true and true blue oval guy Ford. And this 302 ran forever. We took it into the woods one day and I blasted it up this trail. The rust blew the tailgate open so bad I couldn't even put it back together. I had ratchet straps holding it together. Oh, okay, you guys got me off topic here. And I don't do this,
oh
man.
man.
But nope, I moved on to a local family-owned refuse company, and they had about 15 leach garbage packers. I'm telling you, there were more maggots on there than you could
Oh
shake a
man.
stick at. And I loved it. I
Yeah.
really, this is where I really cut my teeth in fleet. And really what it was every time you worked on it, you knew the guys were getting up at 2 in the morning. They're going out, they're shaking barrels at
Right.
local businesses and establishments, and they're providing a service to the community. And really, from there, I went and I spent a great amount of time out in Phoenix, Arizona at UTI, which is something that, a couple of us share. I mean, what a great school. Man, in the hood, I mean, you want to talk about a life-changing experience. I went to a place where there's pine trees and four seasons, to a place where people are riding bulls out back of restaurants. I was like, what is going
Real
on
bull?
here?
Wait, real
Yeah,
bulls?
a bull. Yep, we were at a apartment complex, and everywhere in Arizona, and I think this happens out in the West, is you know, block walls around everything. My mother and my brother's, backyard, block walls, and it was over the other side of the block wall was a cowboy western, and of course I'm using the wrong terms because I'm from the East Coast, but anyhow, a bar. They would bring a bull in on Thursday and Friday nights, and people would take turns riding a bull in the back of this restaurant. And we would sit there, dumb, 19-year-old kids, obviously, having a good time, hooping it up. And we're watching these people and we're like, wow, somebody's going to get killed. And they pretty much did. It was interesting, But I worked at a couple of dealerships after that. And I really, learned that production work wasn't really for me. And was it that I couldn't get a grasp of really understanding kind of flat rate and pump and work out. I had a terrible accident. I worked at an international truck dealership, and the shop foreman and I didn't really get along, and he was putting a lot of pressure on me. Get these jobs done, get them out the door. I rebuilt an engine in a Boston Globe newspaper truck, and I was proud of it. Took it for a ride, put it outside the shop, and for some reason, I wanted to run it. I wanted to get the temperature up in the engine, and tried to put it on high idle. So this was 4700. So it was an electronic 46 DT 466E, great engine, and trying to rev it up, and I couldn't do it by the controls. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a hood prop, and I'm going to prop it
Oh
up on the
yeah.
throttle pedal and get it going. Well, what I didn't realize was it had an Allison automatic, and I left it in drive. So I revved it up, and it overheated the torque converter. It drove right through the garage door. It blasted the thing open, bashed into another vehicle, and it really almost did
That's how
some
you make
damage
an
to the
entrance right
vehicle.
there, man.
Yeah,
Bring it
hey,
on the
listen.
fucking hood.
Yeah, right?
Make a name for
Dirty
yourself.
deeds, done dirt cheap, But that really,
Shit,
made me
man.
look back at sometimes when you get comfortable with equipment and stuff that you work on a day-to-day basis, you can take for granted really how serious, the power that these pieces of equipment that we work on have. And it kind of it set me back a bit, but I ended up going into private EMS, man, and it is an industry. Geez, and we talked about it, doing 100 best fleets this year with Mike Brenton in between commercial and private fleets, and he was 100% true. Talking about it again today with a gentleman that I introduced to RTA, great company. He just signed on with the fleet management software. He works for a Pepsi Cola distributor.
Oh, no.
When it comes to private fleets, man, it's fix it, fix it, fix it. It doesn't care what it takes, and that's kind of been the motto lately. And really, what I've been trying to do is bring data-driven results and decisions to private EMS. And a lot of people don't think like that, but again, I just really enjoy working on equipment that makes a difference, and it makes a difference to the community. It's one of the most densely populated cities in the state, Massachusetts, Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's right across the old dirty river, the Charles River from Boston, and we have a good time there in Cambridge, and we really have. I'm a small fleet. We have 30 vehicles. We just actually bumped up today to 21 transporting units. They get built down in Jefferson, North Carolina. Those people that build the trucks really have a lot of pride in what they do, and man, I'm telling you, I just like at the end of the day, once you finish doing something, whether it's being a fleet leader or working on a piece of equipment, you understand that these machines make a difference in the community and people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, it is huge. That's a great start. That's pretty awesome.
So should we roll with Mike and just see if we can map all of us out, or no?
Don't need to do all that, do we? All right. We'll run into it. So the start, I started in high school really just wrenching on my own car. I had a 84 Cutlass Supreme.
I had the Cutlass. Was it the Broham, or am I saying that properly?
No.
Wait, hold on. I just realized that we skipped saying something at the beginning. One of the requirements of every time we're on here, or we have somebody on here, you got to have a drink.
So we got to talk about what we're drinking.
Oh boy! But
I already grabbed the
brand name. Can you say the brand name? I'm not sure that we can do that.
Yeah. No, you're good with that.
I'm drinking a NAFA Southeast Region Blue Moon.
Ooh, Blue Moon.
Drew's
nice.
drinking a Zima at this point.
Dude, I hate to say it. This is almost a Zima. It's all I had. Good old
Definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's humid in here in Massachusetts, so it's cold and it's delicious now.
Well, we didn't say that it had to be alcohol. We just said you have to be drinking something.
Did that still have the cap? Oh, okay. You just took it off. I was like, did you really just pull up something with the damn cap on?
This is going nowhere fast.
All right, Mike, what are you drinking?
You know what? I was actually telling Brent earlier. I am whiskey and Dr. Pepper right now, man. It's hitting the spot. It's really good.
Nice.
Very nice. I am onto some Appleton Estate rum that we brought back from Grenada, even though it's a Jamaican rum. Picked it up down there, so
just on the rocks. No
cheers.
Suds, no nothing.
No, just on the rocks, man. Just good
Mike,
stuff.
Love
apologies for the interruption. Continue.
No, it's no big deal. So like I said, I had in high school I had an 84 Cutlass Supreme. Absolutely loved that thing. And it needed work constantly. And one day my wife and I, actually my girlfriend in high school is my wife now. We were outside in the driveway. I was replacing the motor in it, and just thought, man, I would love to do this all day. And turns out I didn't love to do it all day because that shit is hard. It's hard to do that all day, right? So no.
Was it like the White Snake video? Was like she's spraying water on you, and you were like,
no. I do have a picture of me head to toe in grease, and I'll send it to the group, and maybe I'll make it online one day. I'm standing in the engine bay of this exact day. The engine's out. I'm just like, I'm like killing it in the engine bay, but it's pretty funny. So I'll send that to the group if I can ever find it. So that's how I started. I just really loved cars. Even growing up, man, I just always thought about cars. Uh, kind of started with that. Like I said, redoing the motor, and then I went to UTI. I went to UTI from 13 to 14, and man, I learned so much. It was in Orlando. I had such a great time. A lot of good friends, a lot of good people I still talk to this day. When I got done with that, I actually got a job at BMW, and I was there for a while. Turner wrenches, I was there for probably 2 years. Really enjoying myself, learning a lot. Also, I was young, and I thought the only way to make money was to be quick. So not only was I learning a lot, I was messing up a lot.
Mm.
And when you're young and you're messing up and you're hurting, you're gonna learn some lessons real quick. I know Drew mentioned how he let a vehicle run through a shop. My story, one of my favorite stories to tell about my mess ups are I thought it was a smart idea to keep washer fluid and DEF in the same jug at BMW. So we had a brand new X5, and I mean, this thing probably had 500 miles on it. And instead of putting washer fluid in the washer jug, I put DEF in the washer jug, and they come back later, like probably 2 weeks, crystals all over the car. The windshield's toast, the paint's toast. It is just destroyed. And at that point, I knew I was like, I gotta go. I messed up. It is what it is. And every young tech has those mistakes where if they're trying to be quick, they're going to continue to mess up. And that's why I take so much time with my young techs now. I'm like, especially where we are, like you have time to just sit and relax and grow and actually take your time. We're not pressuring you to get these things in and out at all. Now, obviously, there's some high pressure moments where you're going to have certain individuals' vehicles in the shop, especially at Tarpon Springs. I had a police chief, had a fire chief, or where I'm at now, if I have a high ranking person in the shop, we need to get it out pretty quickly. But, usually I have young techs go with older guys or more senior people to let them know, this is how we work quickly and this is how we still double check our work while we're there. But once I left BMW, I bounced around from dealerships for a while. I just couldn't really find my home. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was at Hyundai for a little bit. I went to Subaru. I wasn't unhappy, but I also wasn't happy. I made my way to a private garage where I worked with a gentleman, actually really close to my house. And man, he just took the time, taught me so much. I really learned like everything about every make, every model, diesel transmissions, anything you can think of. I was doing it all, and it was really nice. It was a great learning opportunity, especially for me as a young man. Starting out, I really needed that, especially if I was going to stay in the field. Like I needed somebody like that, and it was really nice to have. One day, Nicole, my wife, and I are driving to dinner somewhere, and I see a fire truck like flying on the road. I'm like, man, who fixes fire trucks? And I'm just Googling all these things, and I was probably 21, 22 at the time, and I found a job at Tarpon Springs where I got a job in 2018, I believe. And I just started from the bottom, worked my way up, started working on lawnmowers, different things like that. And again, I paired up with an older technician who just knew so much, and I was just absorbing all this knowledge that he had. And like I said, working on lawnmowers, made my way up to police cars, and made my way up to fire trucks. And I was at one point, I was the youngest EVT master fire truck mechanic in the world. So I had all my EVTs, all my ACs, which made me the youngest in the world. And that was what an accomplishment that was. Like this finding out that like, man, that's amazing where I started to where I am now. And the different vehicles that we got to do, not only fire trucks, but just the construction equipment and different things. I mean, like I was immersed in everything, and had some falling outs, if you will, with management there. And Drew, I had some falling out with management there, and
Actually,
I left
I mistook you. Your microphone was cutting out. I thought you said handsome. I was like, oh,
No,
geez. I mean,
Well,
no,
he's like, oh, Drew was like, you must be talking about me.
no, it's definitely talking about me if we're talking about handsome. Had some falling out with management there. Left for a little bit. Went to another local municipality. Tarpon Springs actually called me back like, hey, we're going to give you an interview, but do you want a chance to be fleet manager? And I was like, absolutely, man. That's my dream. Tarpon Springs was really good to me, and I was happy to be able to give that back. Interviewed, got the management job. I was there for 3 years, and now I am where I am now. I went from 500 vehicles to over 1,600 vehicles, 4 employees to almost 20 plus employees. I mean, it's great. Definitely more challenges now. One of the biggest things that I've noticed, and to jump into the necessary I guess, the purpose of this podcast, right? Not only are we all fleet managers or fleet adjacent or supervisors, or we're all immersed in fleet, we're here to teach people about different things that we've learned along the way, take questions that we get, and also give them back. Like, this is kind of our way to give back to the community. There's so many different avenues that people can go, and we want everybody to know about all the different avenues that there are. I mean, you got two representatives from government, one from private. You got Fakundo, who's in a management software company, RTA. So you have so many different avenues here. But that being said, I'd say just going and where I am now, I mean, it's great. Just all the different personalities, all the different vehicles. It's challenging. It's hard every day. There's so many different things going on. You have to be on your toes all the time to be ready for any change. Right now, we're in fleeting 100 Tahoes. So we had a replacement dollar amount this year. I think it was $12 million of vehicle replacements, over 100 Tahoes, and then different undercover vehicles. Just, I mean, anything and everything, trailers, enclosed, open trailers, just different oddball stuff. So, I mean, I'm still touching a lot of different things. It's still cool to, even though my hands aren't physically on them, I can still see them rolling in the shop. I have 3 shops that I'm over now, and it's quite a pleasure to be doing what I'm doing right now. So that's kind of from where I started to where I am now.
Yeah, I think the one really important thing about this, venture that we're going on is I like to do this with a few gentlemen that are very humble. What Michael did not explain during his list was he was a gentleman that was on the forefront of putting Tarpon Springs on the 100 best fleets, and that's a huge accomplishment,
Yeah.
and to do that as a young fleet professional, and to really make that leap with a private entity is a huge accomplishment. So
Yeah,
that's
thank you. I
another thing
appreciate
Michael
that.
didn't.
Yeah, and that was, man, just immersing myself. I think I even called Fakundo. I didn't call Fakundo at the time.
That was
I
the
called
sign,
another.
right? That was the first sign that I was.
That's when we took the picture. That's what it was.
I'll have
But
to
I know
share
I
that
called
picture. Yeah.
another local fleet manager, and they're like, "Look, there's no better time than the present. Like, if you start a year from now, you're gonna wish you started now. Just start now. Who cares if you don't place? If you place?" And we came 57th, and I mean, for a small shop like that, I mean, we were blown away. The city embraced us as a whole, and this is just going to go on a tangent, and it's going to sound like an ad for NAFA, but I mean, we got everything. I can't say there you go. I can't say.
Go ahead.
What I can't say we got everything we wanted, but the city manager was down all the time. Commissioners came. They wanted to just say, "Hey, what do you need? What can we help you with?" And I feel that when I left Tarpon Springs, I left it in such a great spot to just flourish. And I tell all my supervisors now, plant seeds now so your garden has room to flourish down the road. You don't want to just start and jump into something. Plant these little seeds now to make it all work. And I feel that I planted enough little seeds in Tarpon Springs before I left to make sure that they had a beautiful garden a few years down the road. So, boom, that's it.
And just to jump in with the NAFA affiliation with 100 Best Fleets, you don't have to be a member to
Right.
try out for the 100 Best Fleets. So even if you're out here and you're, either you don't have the budget, you personally don't have an interest in it or whatever, yeah, get the recognition for your staff, get that pushed out there and just put in the entry.
Right.
It doesn't cost anything but a little bit of time. So, and a little bit of time's a blatant lie. It costs a lot of time.
A lot of time. It is hard. Yeah.
Totally worth it. And yeah, get that little professional boost and get your guys' names out there. So
yeah, that is true.
So I think Mother Nature is doing a great thing to you, Brenton.
I'm in the spotlight. Yeah,
you're on the spotlight.
So,
you're on the hot seat. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I'm the West Coast professional over here. We party on this side of the country. They're super serious on the other side. So, as everyone starts laughing. So I currently work for the city of Las Vegas. My fleet story, kind of like Drew, I start back in middle school. So 7th grade, 8th grade. I wasn't going to be anywhere near cars. I was fast tracking and dead set on going to MIT to be a computer hardware engineer and develop the next generation of CPUs and graphics cards and all that. As it turns out, in high school, I decided I didn't like homework, and so my grades dropped. So they're definitely not going to MIT. However, I did get into the auto shop program, my senior year, which changed my life, changed my trajectory. Um, Fell in love with the automotive program, fell in love with automotive industry as a whole, and then at that time, uh, 2005, cars were getting very computerized at that time, and everyone in the industry knew that it was only going to get more and more. So my background in IT and computer, you know, integrations and support and everything, figured that might work to an advantage. So graduated high school, ended up being the student of the year for the automotive program senior year, which I was the
Oh,
only person that was a single year um, student in the program to actually achieve that. There were people that were there for 4 years that were
Wow,
aces, and I managed to best them on that. So,
that's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, honored to hold that title. That's one of the highlights. 20 years ago. Um, I think I'm the youngest one in the group too, so that's kind of odd.
Well, here's
Not,
where we
not
all have to say our ages. Go ahead.
in this
How
group.
old are you?
No, you're not.
No, you
No,
got me
you're
beat.
not. Oh yeah,
What, you
Fucking,
like class '08 or something?
fucking young buck.
class '08.
Oh wait,
Right.
I'll lead. I'll lead first, thinking I'm maybe the oldest. So I turn 46.
Come on, there it is. All right,
Nah,
No, I'm just
Drew.
talking. I'm just talking with you. I'm giving you myself an X-ray. 45. I turned 45 in November.
Well,
oh
Drew
Jesus!
watched.
I'm the oldest. I turned
Yeah,
Yeah.
46 in December, so I'll turn.
fucking
No. I
grandpa.
turned 35 in December. I'll turn 46 this December.
that's all. No, dude, you watched the Iowa get deployed in 1943.
Yes, I did. Dude. I'm telling you, I look good for that, right? I mean, some good skin
Yeah. Look
products.
at
I do
that.
get them
I
from
mean,
Trader Joe's. There's some exfoliator that I do every day. I'm telling you, it works
It's
wonders.
pronounced Trader Joe's, not Trader. Trader Joe's. Brent,
I will be 38 in August, so
yeah,
coming up
uh,
on it.
I'll be
like it's 21.
32 in. Sorry,
Jesus.
33 in October. I'm 32 now.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Okay, but can we go down the
oh, baby.
best hair award? I mean, look
Hey,
at this. I'm doing pretty
I
good.
still have hair.
Me too. Me too. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad. I'm
Fakundo's
glad.
got the fade going on right now. It's him. It's
Uh,
him.
He's on
When- when-
vacation too, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
When
tough
Drew,
to beat
when
a guy
Drew
with a
combs his
vacation
hair,
spot.
though, when Drew
Yeah.
combs his hair fresh from the barbershop, it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
The barber
It's
shop?
humid here today.
Barber.
Jesus, the barber has not been my friend lately, dude.
barber.
I'm a couple of weeks out. I even had to
Alright,
clip
wait.
my beard myself.
Oh, rough.
Brent, continue. Where were you?
So yeah. So anyway, so out of high school, had the great idea that I was going to go to Universal Technical Institute down in Phoenix. Well, so Drew got the old campus out in the ghetto. I got the new campus out in the farm fields, out in Avondale. So I'm West Valley, you're East Valley. I'm West Coast, you're East Coast. It's natural.
27th and Grand, baby.
You know, yeah, nah, 107th and McDowell. um, so went through UTI, and to be the opposite of what I did in high school, I overachieved. I was 4.0 perfect GPA, perfect attendance, never missed anything in the program. Did automotive and Ford, and got accepted into BMW, into their
Nice.
program. I do have family ties in BMW organizations, so I didn't have a leg up on anything, but I had a job available if things had gone well.
So you're a made man, is what you're saying. Or like if you're the mafia, they open the books, they made you, you're in. That's it. You're done.
I
Nobody can
have
touch you.
I might have direct family ties to a little unknown place like BMW Santa Monica.
Man, man,
So things
that's pretty
didn't
awesome.
things didn't work out. As it turns out, I'm a smartass, and that's calmed down a lot as I've grown older. Uh, their faces, I don't know if the camera's going to cut to them or not, but everyone is saying bullshit.
Yeah,
Um,
bullshit. There you go. You got
there
me.
we go. Perfect. So yeah, I didn't get along with the instructor at all. Me and my good buddy, we were both everything in the BMW program is rah 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 BMW, and I was there to prove him wrong, and so that didn't go well.
Yeah.
So ended up between getting a really bad illness and having to miss classes, and then just deciding that that wasn't my future. I ended up leaving Southern California and coming back to the Las Vegas Valley. Had a couple little BS jobs and was lucky enough to get picked up by the Clark County School District in 2007. Um, Working at a bus yard there, I was a fueler at the time. I was a vehicle garage attendant. I was a retarded NASCAR driver. I had 141 buses, 142 buses that I needed to fuel every night. I made left turns all night and pitted every lap, and then had to change to the next vehicle. Uh, which we'll go into a little bit of a funny side note on the story. So each bus typically took about 70 gallons of fuel. So I was pumping like 8,000 gallons of fuel per night. And my yard had 1,150 buses, give or take. So that was just my section. So I was there until May of 2008, and I was lucky enough. Anyone out there looking for jobs, you're doing it wrong. Don't look for a job when you're looking. Look for a job when you have one.
Yeah.
They are always available when you don't need it, and they're not there when you do.
Yeah.
So don't miss an opportunity. Um, but yeah, May of 2008, I was lucky enough to start with the city of Henderson. I moved into their tire shop, and so I was the tire guy. Fleet was, I want to say, about 1,000 vehicle fleet, mixed municipal, so everything, fire, police, public works, specialty, some real specialty stuff with police force and fire. Um, and I was it. I was the tire guy. At that time, the tire guy also maintained all of the fuel sites. There we go,
Uh,
tying the fuel in.
yeah.
So couldn't get away from pumping fuel over there. I had 11 fuel sites that I was responsible for maintaining, doing the all the weekly inspections, the throughput, helped out with fuel ordering and everything. Um, 2011 moved up to being a mechanic, mechanic two, which is light duty automotive and police. So there were four of us that were of that title. Two guys did cop cars, two guys did light duty, and light duty was everything else that was non-commercial. Had a lot of fun doing that, learned a lot of stuff. Kind of as some of the other guys alluded, the benefit of being young in the industry in fleet, especially government fleet, not that there's an endless budget by any means, but when you make the mistake, you get to learn from it and fix it instead of it costing you
Right.
money.
Right.
So as long as you get better and learn from it, it definitely works. Um, from there, I had the grand idea that I was going to go to college. So starting fall of 2016, I signed up for a bachelor's program at Nevada State College, which is now Nevada State University. And I'll rush this a little bit because I know you guys on the East are getting tired. But so I'll talk
We're old
slower.
men, man. It's hard to.
Yeah, freaking young kid. My God, my kid is almost older than you. Um, so anyway, so yeah, decided to go back to college. Going to night classes and being a mechanic during the day completely beat the hell out of me. So I decided there was an opportunity available to move into the parts room. So I moved into the parts department for the City of Henderson Fleet Department, and I spent my last 5 years there up until 2021 when the City of Las Vegas had a fleet supervisor opening come up conveniently right after I graduated. So had some fresh artwork to post on the wall, and
Nice.
started there November 21. My first, it's like my first month in. I went to my boss and I was like, "Hey, why aren't we doing 100 best fleets? City of Henderson. We made the list. Um, quite a few times. I think we started that program in 2012. So had quite a few years of experience receiving the award on the staff side, but never entering the competition. And my boss was real gun shy about it and was like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to jump on the 100 best right away." I was like, "All right, cool." So got through the first year. I think Fakundo, did we meet in October 22 at Connect down there in Phoenix?
No, I don't think we met. We
Maybe we
didn't meet
didn't.
until I started at RTA.
Okay. And then Mike, you came out here to Vegas. That's where we met.
Yeah,
You messaged me and were like, "Hey man, I'm in town. I want to see your operation." And I'm like,
right.
"That's weird, but cool. Come check it out."
That is one thing I do, and that's the response I get every time. Anywhere I go on vacation, I call any local fleet manager. I'm like, "Hey, I'm a fleet manager here. Let me come visit you. Let me go see what you got going on. I want to tell you what I got going on. Let's make some changes. Let's make this stuff a little bit better. Let's see what we can do." And
You
that
Now
can
I
he
do
say
gets
that every
professional.
you
Now he
can
gets
say
so
shit.
professional with the language. He said shit,
stuff.
everybody.
I meant
You
to say
said
shit.
stuff.
I, but I've done that there. I've done that at uh, Chicago's fire fleet because I went with my fire truck guy at the time. We went and visited their fire fleet. Their fire fleet is like 100 Walmart size. It's ridiculous how big it is. The bays, I mean, they probably have 100 bays for fire trucks. It's
Hmm.
huge. It is insane. It's the most beautiful shop I've ever seen in my life. They have their own body shop. It's insane. But that's something I do everywhere I go. Is I'll try to call a different fleet manager, say, "Hey, I'm in town. I'm a fleet manager. Can I?" And then that's only good for networking too. That's how me and Brett met. And I mean, we've
Yep.
been pretty tight ever since. So it's been pretty great.
No,
Even though
yeah.
it came off a little grabby, but
I mean,
here we are now.
not really. The back rub was nice,
Had to massage
but
you to get in a little bit,
yeah,
Oh, I didn't
it's
know
a
that
little
about
weird.
you guys. Thanks for
But
sharing.
no,
Listen,
we
don't
yeah,
get
that
a little
was
don't get a little Bob Kraft on everybody, okay? We were able to tuck that under the rug up here in New England. So I don't know if you guys know where that happened down in Florida, but they do a lot of different things down in Florida.
I was there
yeah.
when it happened. I was at the parlor. What are you talking about?
He was the one doing. He was the one giving the back rub.
Come on, dude.
Back rub.
But yeah, no, fast forward a little bit here. We're now 3 years running on 100 best fleet list,
Yeah.
and got to give it up to my guys. Like I always tell them, it's their work. I just tell the story. So, yeah. So not that we really know what we're talking about, but we kind of know what we're talking about here on this podcast. So, definitely hope that everybody comes back and joins us, give us comments, throw questions in here. We do actually have an email address also, so I'll be posting that in the pinned comment. And I don't know, anybody else got anything else that they want to say before we
Yeah,
call it a night?
I
Maybe a
do.
couple.
And
Maybe a preview of some things we'll be talking about. But go ahead, Mike.
I do real quick, and Brent kind of hit it a little bit there. Not only do we know what we're talking about, I don't know if I know what I'm talking about. I just know what I do. But not only is that, but we all come from different backgrounds and we've all been in different places. We've all entered and won different things. That doesn't mean, I mean, that gives you such a great variety of different answers that you're going to be able to get because we're all viewing and doing different things right now. I in Florida have something totally different than that's going on in Boston. That's something totally different that's going on in Vegas. But you get three different answers that can give you a really good outcome, or at least you can come with a hybrid of those three answers. That's something that could really help you out. So that's something that would be really beneficial for the podcast too.
Yeah,
Or
And
for
I
the
think
listeners.
another thing that you'll pick up on the podcast is we're going to name drop people all over the place. Brenton was
Yeah.
talking about his journey to 100 best fleets.
Right.
It was one of the really touching episodes on the RTA Fleet Success podcast as Brenton it was able to present his story with his leader. And it was really inspirational to me to get me to apply, So, I mean, we're going to name drop people left and right. Keep your ears open. There's so many people out there. that we're just going to talk about that you just look up on LinkedIn and get talking to these people. The fleet community is amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I always tell people, the success I had in fleet management and the success I'm having in my career isn't because I'm a smart guy. I don't think I'm a smart guy. But one thing that somebody taught me years ago is, um, who do you know that I need to know? And so I'm
Right.
always, some people I ask that too, like, hey man, you're an interesting dude. Who do you know that I need to know? Or other ones, it's like, you know, hey, this is what I do, this is what you do, um, who's somebody interesting that I can learn from or whatever. And before you know it, I always tell people, there's a 90% chance I can help you solve your problem because I've come across it somehow, directly or indirectly. But there's probably a pretty much 100% chance that I can help you solve your issue through my network. So
Right.
when you're connecting with me via LinkedIn or whatever, you're connecting with my entire network, and I'm sure we can solve your issue.
That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, definitely make sure that you connect with us. We're all up on LinkedIn. We're all pretty active on there. Um, we'll also be getting a Unprofessional Fleet Professionals podcast page
Yeah.
built out shortly. So definitely reach out. The fleet community is here to support each other. And, we're going to have some fun doing this along the way. I know this was kind of the intro episode. Coming soon, we're going to kind of dig in a little bit more onto some of our management and leadership styles. We also have plans and opportunities to bring in guest members that can give us a different perspective than what we already know. And, have some fun with it along the way. We're going to get unprofessional. We're going to be drinking. We're going to say some words that are more adult oriented. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure that you stick around with us, come back, drop comments, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all in the next episode.